Hey, what's up everybody? This is your friendly neighborhood Unpunk bringing you an Easter egg tutorial here for IX or 9 zombies within Black Ops 4. You're going to see a little bit of footage of the boss fight here in the beginning, so pay no mind to that. We're going to walk you through that when we get there, so just enjoy the background while we're getting you introed. A couple things you're going to need to note is you're going to want to know how to build the shield for this Easter egg. It's going to be required for a few steps, as well as you're going to want to know how to make the Wonder Weapon and unlock Pack-a-Punch, as Pack-a-Punch is the first step. Since I already have a guide for the Wonder Weapon on the channel, and I'm pretty confident everyone at this point, or most people, know how to do the Pack-a-Punch, I'm not going to include those, but I will link videos down in the description. So if you guys do need those for any reason, we'll have them down in the descriptions. So just check that out if you guys don't know how to do either of those two. As well as I will also link someone's shield guide, as I didn't make one for myself, but I'll link someone's shield guide so that way you guys can see those 3 items if you're having any trouble or don't know any of the spawns, things of that nature. This is going to be a fairly lengthy video. There is a lot of different steps to it. I want to say about 15 to 20 steps or things you have to do, so there's definitely a lot, and it's going to take you a decent amount of rounds to get this done. As you can see, we were on about round 30 here when the first person, Milo and Smart Guy and Liam, I believe, when they completed it, they were on about 34, 35, and then one of our other games where we crashed our first time through, we were about 28 or so. I would recommend bringing in the class perks you see on my screen. I would also recommend getting 1 to 2 players throughout this map. You're going to want to get them the monkey bomb little grenades, the new I don't know how to say them, so I'm not even going to try and butcher it. And then I would recommend getting the Hades. Whether you do all 9 challenges or just getting it out the box, it is a really good weapon for this. It'll make your boss fight very fast and very easy. This boss fight's not insanely hard nonetheless, and you get tons of max ammo, so you're not going to need any special elixirs. But I would recommend bringing in the Nowhere But There. You're going to want to bring in the equipment, or the whatever the equipment gobble gum that refreshes your equipment automatically, the elixir, and then also you're going to want to bring in aftertaste if you do have a lot of downs or you're prone to downs. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. And then point sharing is a good gobble gum to bring, but it's not necessary. That's going to be what I recommend here for the Easter egg. Again, you want to make sure you have those guides and you know those first things to get Pack-a-Punch, the shield, and the Wonder Weapon, which I'll have guides linked down in the description. Bring in all that I just told you, and let's get right into it. Alrighty, so the first step, this I'm not 100% sure if it's required for the Easter egg, but everyone's been telling me that this is how you spawn the grinder, which you need to use to grind the skull down for the first purging the blight step. There is a little cup right back there outside of the Raw Temple. If you make your way down here into the cursed room here, the cursed wherever this is, you can go ahead and grab a sword right on there. And then there is a third part in the Odin Temple. You can put all 3 of these on the skeleton, which is upstairs, which you'll see in just a minute. If you end up doing it correct, you will get an activation noise. Upon getting this correct and getting this activation noise, it is supposed to allow you to put the skull in the grinder, but that is not confirmed, so let me know if you guys don't have to do this for that step, but if you do, this is how you do it. To get the skull, you're going to need to have all the prerequisites I said earlier already taken care of, so once pack is open, you can go ahead and go in here and pick up a skull with a blue symbol on it. The symbol and the skull will spawn in multiple different spots, so if you're having a hard time, make sure to just look around at all of these skulls in the Pack-a-Punch room. It will always be in the Pack-a-Punch room, and it will never spawn anywhere else in the map. So if you're having a hard time finding it, which this is what it looks like, just keep looking. You're going to want to use your special meter while you're crouched and close to the skull, and the initial blast is going to pop the skull out. Does not matter which one it is, and then you just go ahead and pick it up. Next, what you're going to want to do is go over into the Flooded Crypt, and you're going to see this little grinder here that I mentioned earlier. There are 3 different spawns in the room that it can appear. This will only appear once you have collected the skull, and I'm not sure again with the Viking pieces if they're required, but all you're going to do is put the skull in the grinder, and we'll be right back with that. After that, you're going to need to go to spawn and get a negative affinity. You can do this by throwing grenades into the crowd like you just saw, and your thumbs will be pointing all the way down and have a red glow off it. If you have done this correct, they are going to throw poop at you either that round or the next round. I know it's a little funky, but they're throwing feces or poop at you. As soon as that comes and lands down, you're just going to want to go pick it up, and you're going to lose between 250 and 500 points depending on how many times you do this and how many rounds it has been. After you pick up the feces or the poop, you're going to want to have the big guy with the axes, the gladiator, throw his axe like you just saw right at you through one of the bonfires in spawn, and you will get a piece of wood from that. Upon doing that, you're going to want to make your way back into the Odin temple. So obviously you're going to want to run through whatever path you have open, and you're going to need to put that charcoal on a little handcuff, a little metal cuff link, something along those lines, however you want to describe it, in the bottom of the Odin temple. I completely missed and went the wrong way because I can't remember the layout of the map very well because it's very confusing. But once you do put this down, you're going to need to wait 2 full rounds before you can pick it up again. So on 11 I place it down, and you can then pick it up at the end of 13 or the beginning of 14. After you picked up those 3 parts, you're going to want to get your wonder weapon vase part, which you should be working on side by side while doing all of these other steps. So make sure you have someone getting max affinity in spawn and collecting the pieces for the wonder weapon to get that vase. You're going to need this wonder weapon to go activate the grinder that you have previously put the skull into, and this is going to get you basically bone meal, which you are going to use to make fertilizer, which you're going to use to purge the blight, which is in the temple of Danu. What you're going to do is obviously just come over here to your skull, and you're going to use a charged shot on this, not a regular like you saw there, but a charged shot 3 different times. It's not very hard to do, but it does take a few seconds. It grinds, and then you do it again, and it grinds, and then you do it a 3rd time, and you will then be able to pick it up. You'll hear an activation noise if you've done it correct. If you haven't, just hold square a couple times, and you should have it one way or another. As soon as you pick that up, all you're going to need to do is make your way over to pick up the charcoal from the Odin temple if you have not already done so from waiting the 2 rounds for it to get hot and burn. Then you're going to go make your way back into the Zeus temple, the bottom layer here, and you're going to put all 3 ingredients into a bowl and wait 1 full round. So I placed it on 15 and come back on 17 to pick it up, and it is going to be glowing a green color. Once you do that, you're going to need to make your way over to the Danu temple, where you're going to place this in between the 2 trees at the bottom layer. Upon doing that, you're going to need to have the fire alternate ammo type on your gun, and you're going to need to get a kill over top of it. Before you can get that kill to charge this poop, you're going to need to wait 3 rounds for it to ferment 1 more time and have a green glow over it, and it's going to need to be 3 full rounds. So for example, you place it down on 16, you have to do 17, 18, and 19, and then at the start of 20, you can go ahead and do it. Upon completing this correctly, you see that bright white flash, and a blue color will be underneath it. Once you have gotten this all done, you're just going to need to come in here and activate all your specialists with all players in your game and get some kills over this fermented fertilizer. Upon doing that, it's going to teleport you into an alternate version of this temple where you're going to need to purge 3 different infections on the tree. This is where the purge comes in. You're going to need to shoot this, and I recommend grabbing the Hades or having the Hades with 1 or 2 players, as when that thing is max upgraded, which you should have enough points at this point in your game, it is going to make this step extremely fast. Other guns that work good are the ICR or the Maddox, but the Hades just knocks them right out the park. Every time you complete one of the phases, you're going to get a max ammo, so make sure you're throwing monkeys or using your wonder weapon to keep the zombies off you guys so you don't go down, because if you do go down and end up everyone dying, you will fail and get kicked out of the game. So you don't want that to happen this far through the Easter egg, because this is the hardest part, in my opinion, of the entire Easter egg, is getting the purge, the blight step completed. There is obviously 3 phases, just like there is 3 levels, and it is a very ominous and awesome looking atmosphere, as there's a very little color in it but these little infections, so it looks really cool. And again, use that Hades and just keep unloading on it, and you're gonna get this thing killed in no time flat, and then you'll get your white flash on screen knowing you completed it, and you'll be teleported right back into the map as usual with most of these rituals, which you will see there will be lots more like that. After that, you're going to need to find 4 different bowl symbols around the map. You're going to see one right here, which is in between the Odin Zeus temple, and you're going to need to shoot it with the shield. Obviously the upgraded shield is not found, so you don't need to use that. And upon doing this, you're going to get a champion or gladiator, whatever you want to call them, to spawn in, and you're just going to need to kill them, and their soul will get collected by the Temple of Ra. You're going to do this to 4 different symbols around the map, and I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the locations on screen now, so that way you guys can see the different ones. If you're having any trouble, just pause the video, look at the locations, and you should find them. These are the 8 known locations at the time of making the video. I know there is at least one more, but I couldn't find it myself or find it anywhere, because I assume there is 9 because the map's name is 9. These locations are pretty easy to find if you get them in your game, as the symbols are pretty obvious to see. Some of these screenshots don't have the symbols spawn there, but they show the location where they can spawn. I believe all of them do, but 1 or 2 might not. I hope this part helps you guys out, and this is a tricky part for a lot of people. I'm gonna let you watch the rest of these ones, and we'll be right back with you. Once you have gotten your 4 bowls and all of that done, you're going to make your way to the top of the Ra statue. We're going to activate it with all players in there, and you're going to see these symbols pop up on it as so. There is 2 phases to this. They can be done in the same round if you complete them, but if you fail one, you're going to have to go ahead and wait till the next round to reactivate it. And again, all players must be on the top layer of the Ra temple to activate this. You can use all 3 layers while doing this, and make sure you are not killing any type of special zombie during this phase unless it is the correct one. What I mean by that is these symbols all tell you a different type of zombie you need to kill, and there's a certain order. As you see on screen here, there are 7 symbols. There's actually an 8th not on this little cheat sheet here, but if you see one that is an diagonal shape, you will see it in just a second here on the video. It'll pop up on my location. That is going to be for the Blight Father, which is only during the second phase of it. It is not during the first. You just need to kill the zombies, the special zombies specifically, in the certain order that it flashes. So have one player up top read out the symbols with the guide next to them to read out what order they need to be killed. All the zombies will spawn in on a little bit different levels. So if you have 3 players split up, one person might get, in this case, the electric, one person might get the Blight Father and the gladiator like one of my players did, another player might get the tiger, etc. And you just got to kill them in the order that they show up on the little tower or the pillar here. Once you have completed that, you're going to be able to get the Temple of Ra completely done. This is your final ritual for Ra, and you will be at this point halfway done with the Easter egg and most of the way through the guide and the hard stuff. After that, you're going to want to make your way down into the middle section by Pack-a-Punch. You're going to see these little dials that you can shoot with your gun, and they will twist and basically make lightning rods appear in the floor above you. This is going to show all the locations, and I'm going to let you guys just see all of these different locations down here. And once you have done that, we'll be right back with you. After you have completed your final one of these, you're going to make your way back up to spawn with all players, and they need to hold square on the pillar that you get the cauldron for the acid trap on to teleport you into another ritual for Zeus. Once you do so, it's going to teleport you right into the area here of the Raw Temple, and you're going to have to basically train around and kill some zombies to my understanding of how this works, and then you can go ahead and progress and go upstairs and start filling souls in these new circles that have appeared in spawn. There is now lightning rods that need souls. You're going to need the electric type alternate ammo to do this. The wonder weapon does not work, as some people were saying. You're gonna have to have the alternate ammo type, which is the kilowatt. This is pretty easy to do, but make sure you guys do a couple of things. I would honestly try to train up as many zombies as you can at once, and then go ahead and start killing them, as your alternate ammo does not activate, but only every 30 to 45 seconds, as it takes a long time to recharge. When you do it, make sure you finish off all of the zombies instead of just letting them sit there and shock and die. If you don't finish them off and keep shooting after you have electrocuted them with the alternate ammo type, then they're not going to collect their souls. So make sure you guys go ahead and keep shooting until you get all of that horde that was electrified by your alternate ammo type killed. You're gonna need, I want to say, 10 to 15 zombies in each of these little half circles. There is 4 of them and 4 lightning rods, and you can have multiple people doing this at the same time. As you see right here, I went and got about 4 more souls there by just shooting it again. Upon doing all 4, you're going to need to come to the middle and have every player, or at least one player, will be able to interact with each one, and one player might be able to interact with a second, and you're just going to need to hold square on all 4 of these until they all turn red. It can be a little bit tricky at first, but there's no consequences if you don't do it. You just got to do it fast enough. Upon doing that, you're going to get teleported into a final ritual for Zeus, where you're going to have your specialist recharging really fast, and you're going to have tons and tons of gladiators and all of the special enemies spawning in, minus the Blight Father. All you're going to do is keep killing them, and upon killing them, it is going to teleport you back to the normal map, and you're going to be able to progress on to the last 2 steps of the Easter egg. And man, you guys have gotten this far. You guys are absolute legends. Once you have done all of that, you're going to go down here and you're going to see these blue symbols around the lower outer layer of the pack-a-punch, and you're going to need to shoot them at a specific angle to activate multiple at a time, which will charge them and activate them in place. You're going to use the charge shot from the wonder weapon, as you see. If you are solo, just use the angles you see here. What I did is I went ahead and had a player as a guide, so that way I could see the other side of the symbols, and when you do so, you'll see a bright glow, and the symbol light will not go away. When you obviously do that, you're going to have to go around and do that 3 times in total. There's going to be some symbols right here in the pack-a-punch on the stairs up, and one on the right as you go down into the Flooded Crypt. So when you make your way around to the second symbol you're going to want to shoot, it's ideal to have your other player go wait on those stairs by the Flooded Crypt. It may take them a minute to find it because the symbols aren't very bright at first when you don't have them charged up, but when they go over to the Flooded Crypt, you can use them as a guide. Again, if you're solo, just look at the angle I'm doing this specifically, and it should work either way, but I use the players as a guide to make it a lot easier to get them to activate and light up. The last one is going to be right down this hall. It is the one that is right inside the pack-a-punch room on the lower set of stairs, and you're going to shoot it at this angle you see right here. Upon doing so, you will complete this step and be on to the last step of the Easter egg right before the boss fight. You will see this water starts to flow here, knowing you have done this step correctly, and this last step is going to take between 4 to 7 or 8 minutes, depending on how good your guns are and what kind of equipment you have and how many players are in your game. It was significantly quicker with 3 players compared to my first time as 4. To activate this, it is again just like the fertilizer step. Pull out your wonder weapons from all players, your specialist weapons I mean, and start meleeing and hitting the pad below you, and you will get teleported into a locked room. This locked room is obviously the exact same room as it was before, but you can't leave either of the 3 exits that you normally have. You can use the trap, which is over there on the left as you saw me shooting. and that will make it a little bit easier. You're going to want to use the wonder weapon, whoever has that, to use the charge shots to keep the zombies kind of away from you. And upon doing the ritual, there's going to be about 6 to 8 phases. You're going to need to kill a few Blight Fathers, 1 per player in your game. Once all of that is done, you're going to see a key has risen up. All you're going to need to do is hold square and it will do the white flash, and you will be all done with the Easter egg and ready to go to the boss fight. The entire Easter egg all led up to just unlocking a key, which I thought was absolutely hilarious when you look back on it. The entire time we were trying to get that key, that was the final step of the Easter egg. You're going to need all players to activate this to teleport into the boss fight, and man, this boss fight is a cakewalk. Very easy. Got it my first time in there, and then got it again my second time because one of our players blue screened and it glitched our game out. There's going to be a few waves of gladiators and then a few waves of tigers, and then your first elephant will spawn. You're going to want to use your most powerful weapon. I recommend the Hades, like I said in the beginning of this video, and you're going to want to shoot him in his chest / lower part of his body, as it's going to do more damage. And he's going to go through a few different phases. So you're going to have his armor obviously on, with guys on top throwing spikes and things at you, and then after you end up doing enough damage, he will lose his armor, and then no time at all after that, he will end up dying. This guy does not have very much health. If you use a fully upgraded 4-time Pack-a-Punched Hades on him and you have 3 players using them, or all players in your game, and you'll see that you have completed it, and then the announcer will make a statement saying you have defeated the Fury, or something along those lines, and you will have defeated the first of the 2 elephants. Upon doing that, you then will be able to fight a few zombies, and then another will spawn. Basically the same process, just go ahead and take his armor and do the whole thing. Upon completing this, you will get the ending cutscene, which I have a video on my channel if you want to see that, or go ahead and go in game and go knock this Easter egg out and see that cutscene for yourself. It's absolutely fantastic. I really hope this video helps everybody out. I went into the best detail I could on all the locations for spawns of everything. I hope that all the little cheat sheets I put up there will help you guys out and make this easy for you guys to find all the locations for the parts you need. If you guys are new to the channel, obviously my name's Unpunk, and I bring you guys Easter egg guides, tutorials, and live streams, and all sorts of things for zombies. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new and love Black Ops 4 Zombies, and leave a comment down below.